Thank you for joining us for the Lantern Weekly Webcast. I'm Matt Edwards. If you walk out of the Ohio Union and look across College Road, you'll notice the once green South Oval now covered in brown mud and orange barrier tape keeping students out of the mess. For details on what exactly is happening and how much it's costing the school, we take you to Lantern reporter Sarah Steeman.
Matt, as you can see, Ohio State University's South Oval is fenced off and torn up from the university's plan to geothermally heat and cool the South Campus dorms. Construction began here last November and continued throughout the winter as geysers sprung up. Project manager Scott Conlon says the project is at least $200,000 behind budget and 8 months behind schedule as well. Ohio State released its initial geothermal contractor, Chesapeake Geosystems, after they unsuccessfully dug up test bores causing the geysers. OSU released Baltimore-based Chesapeake in April and hired a new subcontractor, Bergerson-Coswell, in September to take over the project. Chesapeake failed to return the Lantern's calls for comment. Bergerson-Coswell is currently doing work on the field directly outside of Hale Hall, and project manager David Heinrich says they will work on this field immediately after. Stay tuned into the Lantern for follow-ups on this story. Reporting for the Lantern, I'm Sarah Steeman.
Thank you, Sarah. Ohio State's football team has struggled both on and off the field in recent months, but it's affecting more than just a number in the win-loss column. With more, we take you to Lantern reporter Katie Harriman.
Thanks, Matt. I'm standing here at College Traditions, a store on Lane Avenue that sells Ohio State merchandise and is being hurt by a subpar football season. After a season of scandal and disappointment for fans, stores that sell OSU merchandise are seeing sales drop. Owner of College Traditions, Kelly Dawes, estimates that sales have dropped 25 to 30% since last year. Football games and the holiday season are the busiest times for businesses that sell OSU merchandise. Conrad's College Gifts, located a couple of doors down from here, has also seen a drop in sales. Co-owner Rob Cohen says Conrad's makes about 80% more on game days, and sales are directly tied to how well the team is doing. Both business owners say their dependence on the team is something they're used to dealing with every year. Reporting for the Lantern, I'm Katie Harriman.
Thank you, Katie. The COTA bus, it's a popular way for Ohio State students to travel around campus and beyond simply by showing the driver their Buck ID. However, next year, students will have to do more than just flash the ID to get a ride. For more on the new procedure, here's Lantern reporter Lindsay Fox.
To track who is riding Central Ohio Transit Authority buses, Ohio State students will have to swipe their Buck IDs starting in January. All OSU students are required to pay a $9 quarterly fee to ride COTA buses, and with the new policy, only people paying the fee will be able to ride on the buses. Currently, OSU students are allowed to ride on the COTA buses by showing their Buck IDs to the bus driver. With the switch, swiping the ID to verify student enrollment will be required. Beth Berkemer, a COTA spokeswoman, says they're doing this to see actually how many OSU students are using the service that is provided for them. Although swiping a Buck ID on the bus does eliminate people who have an ID but have graduated, Berkemer said this was not a reason why COTA was making the switch. If someone's Buck ID doesn't work, or if they haven't switched out their ID, they're going to have to pay the regular fee. Reporting for the Lantern, I'm Lindsay Fox.
Thank you, Lindsay. The biggest news in the Big Ten and all of sports this week comes from State College, Pennsylvania, where the Penn State football program has come under scrutiny regarding a sexual abuse case involving multiple underage boys. With your update in sports, we take you to Lantern reporter David Girard.
Thanks, Matt. There are some unsettling headlines regarding the Big Ten football conference again this week. Amidst a full-fledged investigation regarding an alleged child sexual abuse scandal involving a former assistant coach, it was announced Wednesday by the Penn State Board of Trustees that head coach Joe Paterno would be immediately dismissed from the university after 46 years on the job. Ohio State coach Luke Fickell had little to say about the alleged scandal, but spoke of Coach Paterno as, quote, a great coach of a great program, end quote. Not to escape the bad news, it was announced Thursday that Ohio State and the NCAA enforcement staff have concluded their investigation for matters not related to the Committee of Infractions hearing from August 12th. With the conclusion of the investigation, the NCAA has provided a supplemental list of allegations for OSU. The two new allegations on the list deal with two separate incidents in which players received extra benefits from former OSU booster Robert DiGeronimo. Along with the failure to monitor allegation, Ohio State has responded by adding an additional sanction. The course of the next 3 years, the Ohio State football program will be reduced by 5 scholarships. In response to the conclusion of the NCAA investigation, OSU hopes the Committee of Infractions will announce their final sanctions in the near future. Moving back to the football field, in preparation for Saturday's game at Purdue, Fickle said OSU needs to improve in the passing game offensively, as well as getting more turnovers on defense. If Ohio State manages to win out their season and are helped by a Penn State loss, they will play for the Big Ten title on December 3rd. Reporting with the Lantern, I'm David Girard. Back to you, Matt.
Thank you, David. That does it for this week's edition of the Lantern Weekly Webcast. For our producer, Ian Sheik, and all of the Lantern staff, I'm Matt Edwards. Thanks for joining us.